In order to play slap bass, you're going to need a lower tension setup than perhaps a lot of you are used to. I know a lot of jazz players like to have low action. They use steel strings with fairly high tension. You're going to have real trouble playing slap bass with that kind of a setup. A lot of people who play slap bass will use gut strings. I used to use steel strings. When I started to play slap bass, I went out and got myself some gut strings, and I really love them. I use them when I play my jazz gigs and all my gigs now. Some people don't like them. There are alternatives to the gut strings. There's Tomastic Weich strings. I believe Milt Hinton, the great jazz player and slap player, used to use Tomastic Weich. But there's also a technique of going out and getting solo strings that classical players might use, and those generally are supposed to be tuned a step higher. Go out and buy them, and don't tune them a step higher. You'll get the lower tension. You might also be a little surprised at the price of gut strings. They are more expensive than the steel strings. If you just want to give it a shot, you might go out. I believe you can get nylon strings. I believe there's a brand called Weed Whacker, which are fairly cheap. Some people probably really like them too. The other thing you'll have to look at is your bridge setup and the action. Some slap players really like to have high action. I don't, but I don't like to have, can't really have very low action either. I have something in the middle. You probably will sacrifice some of your dexterity, but that's what you're going to have to do if you want to play slap bass.
One.
Here's a shot of my bass and the setup I have as far as the action goes. You can see I can sort of fit my fingers in between there. A lot of players like to have them really low so they can get great dexterity, but that's just not going to work for slap bass.
One.
As you can see, I have an adjustable bridge. Those are those metal wheels that you see on my bridge. You can also see my pickup. I won't really discuss a lot about pickups. There's a lot to be. People say these pickups are best to use. These are not. This one seems to work fine. It's a K&K pickup, and I like it just fine.